All right, welcome everyone to our webinar today. We are going to be covering must-have solutions for Key2Act users. And we are going to talk about several tools today. We are going to talk about more than we have time to show. But again, if you have questions about any of them that we have that sit on top of the Key2Act product, certainly jump in and ask those. And again, we'll be monitoring the chat and the question box. So feel free to enter in any questions or comments that you have there. This is Cheryl Simmons speaking, the Vice President here at IS, and along with me is Sandy Strong, who is going to be doing our demoing as well. So we'll start out talking about a few tools, we'll do some demos, and we'll come back, take a look at some slides, and kind of keep that going here for during our webinar today. So let's get started, Sandy.
Okay.
All right, first one up is Void Reopen. And this particular tool is one of our most popular tools. And how this works, I'm already losing my voice, sorry, is if you do a T&M invoice, a service invoice, and you have posted it onto receivables, so all the way through service onto your customer in receivables, and you find out that it was maybe the wrong amount or you needed to make a change to it and resend them an invoice, you can use this tool called Void Reopen, where it allows you to go into the posted transaction window inside of receivables where you would normally void your transactions, but you're going to get a special question if you have Void Reopen loaded. It's going to ask you if you want to return costs back to the service call and re-invoice that customer. And it'll actually take care of updating all the tables for you, and it'll reopen that service call window for you so you can go back in and see the old cost be brought back onto the invoice or onto the service call so you can re-invoice it again. You know, if you had to, add some more charges, change the billing amount, all of that, again, it would be in that invoice window ready for you to make those changes and move forward. So very popular tool. People love it. And again, it's been around for several years, so we have lots of customers using that one currently. So we'll talk a little bit more about that one as we go to the next one and talk about a newer one that came out, very similar to Void Reopen. It's called Void Maintenance. And this particular one, there's kind of two parts to it, and that's why it says Void Maintenance posted behind it. So we're going to talk about just like you went through the process, like or Void Reopen, right, where you had entered in an invoice and posted it. We're going to talk about on the maintenance side where you had gone through and did, your schedule that you had said, I want to build this. You went through and you did your maintenance invoice, printed it, went over to receivables, and you posted the batch over in receivables. Again, you would go to that same posted transaction window inside of receivables, pull up the transaction that was your maintenance invoice that you posted, go through the same thing, selecting void as the option in the bottom of the window. And again, another question will pop up asking you again if you want to re-invoice. And what this particular tool does is it allows you to actually back out everything that has happened and kind of return to before you did the invoice. And so it's from an audit perspective, though, it is keeping a copy of all that data that you've done in a new historical table so that you would have all that information from a reporting standpoint, but it would remove the invoice for you, reset your billing schedule back so that you would have to, shows that it was not already invoiced. And again, you could run the whole process again and, change your billing amount if that's what you needed to do. Versus today, if you don't have this type of tool, you would have to go through and do a credit memo, right, to reverse that out on your billing schedule, and then you'd put in a new line to do a new invoice amount onto your billing schedule. So really that correcting time that you have to do, this makes it so much easier to do. And this one, we're going to get to see this one in practice a little bit here in a couple minutes. But let's go to the next slide. So this is the other part of void maintenance. And that's when we say unposted. So as you had gone through the whole process of maintenance invoice, you create your invoices, whether that's in a batch perspective or you do them one at a time. it's still creating a batch sitting over in receivables, typically called maintenance XXX, right? The number behind that. Well, if you have not posted that particular batch yet, you can go in to the batch window, and we have added a new window there where you can choose which ones of your invoices you would want to void per se and have them delete out of that batch, but also again still updating your billing schedules back over in service so you could rerun your invoice correctly a second time. And again, we'll store all of that information in a history table as well. So very powerful tool. Again, similar to the void reopen, but that one's been around for years, where this one just came out about a year ago, right, Sandy?
Yep.
Are you right in that time frame? You know, time flies. So but, definitely customers are adapting this one as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let's go a couple more slides and then we'll take a look at a demo, because I know everybody likes to see them in action in the product. Next up is select cost transfer. We're going to talk about select cost transfer on the service side as well as on the job cost side, because they are separate products, but you'll get to see them here. First off, if we want to talk about transferring costs from one service call to another, or a service call to a job, because I know it happens where, you know, let's say a technician accidentally puts cost on the wrong service call, or somebody in their time entry, right, when they're entering their hours and sending that over into time track, they entered that incorrectly, gets applied to the job or service call. These are the types of tools that you can use to help fix that. And you know, so you go in and you'll select the service call that you want to pull them in from. And there's all kinds of filtering options on these windows, which we'll see as Sandy goes into them. But you can choose, you know, by customer, by service call, by division, even by cost element. You can see if you just wanted to see labor transactions, you can filter by that. And then you would select which transaction you want to move, and then choose which service call you want to move it to, or in this case, which job you wanted to move it to as well. Again, it gives you that flexibility to be able to do transfer to service call or job all in that one window. So that's cool. So let's look at the next one, which is the select job transfer. So similar, but in the other module, right? So here you can start out listing out the job transactions from a particular job. And again, you could transfer them to another job if that's what you needed to do. There is one caveat here with this particular tool, is we have it split between two areas. One is for your current month and one is for historical. So select job transfer is one window. And then Sandy, if you want to go to the next slide, we have a historical job transfer as well. And by historical, we mean that, let's say you're doing transaction level billing. And so if you've already done an invoice for those transactions, that would be historical. And when you do historical, we don't physically move the transaction from one job to another. We actually are doing a GL entry in the current period for that adjustment. And so again, we want to make sure that we're maintaining, you know, your POC entries and those type of things, and just in getting the data in the current period, even though it may be historical transactions that you actually need to transfer from one job to another. So lots of functionality in there with that select cost transfer piece, whether it's from call to call, call to job, or job to job. And we'll get to see some of those in practice here when Sandy does her demo. So Sandy, you want to hop over and let's show some things?
Sure, you bet. Okay, so let's first take a look at void maintenance, which Cheryl talked about already. So here I have customer 104, and they have this contract here. And if we look here, we can see I have this one that's already billed for July of 2027, because I have the demo data. And here we can see that as well. This line right here, the service 59. And then we can see it here too on the revenue cost. We've got a total of 262.50 for the ones we've done. And so now let's go over, and this is one that has been posted So I'm going to go to transactions, sales, posted transactions, and we'll do our vendor 10, or excuse me, customer 104, and then we'll pick that service 59 maintenance invoice, and then click void. And as Cheryl mentioned, we get a special message, and this asks if we want to void it in service management. So if I say no, it would treat it just like we didn't have the tool installed, but I'm going to say yes. And I'm not going to look at these reports for the sake of time.
Good point though, Sandy, because if you do say no, yeah, it works just like you didn't have the product and like it would be just voiding in receivables today. Good point.
Yeah. So now if we come back here to our maintenance contract and we look at the billing, we see that that one for July of 2027 is now gone. Same if we go to the invoice history. There's nothing there. That service 59 invoice is gone. And let's look quick at the revenue cost. And so instead of, we were at 262.50, but that 87.50 has come off. So now we've got 175 here. And so then, that's available to do again. And as Cheryl mentioned, we have a history table that holds that record for the voiding that we did. And then, so this was the posted. Now let's look at the unposted. So I'm going to go to transactions, sales, receivables batches. Oh, I guess I had that window open already. And here, the window we added is under the additional button, and we can remove maintenance invoices. So this shows us all the transactions in that batch, and these are unposted maintenance invoices, and we can select to remove one or more of them from the batch. So I can pick it here and process, and then those are gone. Now I'm down to 2 transactions, as you can see here and here. Those other ones have been removed for us. So that is both windows for void maintenance.
Very handy.
Yeah, very handy. And
Cool.
let's look next at select cost transfer, and that's right here on the transactions menu for service. And we can filter on all of these things. Cheryl talked a little bit about this. I'm just gonna, for right now, just pick one customer and leave the other filters blank. Hit redisplay here, and let's pick a couple of them. So these are both from the one service call ID, equipment and material, and we can pick to transfer to a job or transfer to a different service call. So I'll just select that, and I think I'm just gonna, you can transfer it to a service call to another customer or the same customer. I think I'm just gonna put this one in here, or we can look it up. And then we just hit transfer. And if we looked here, that's gonna be, well, gone from that one. But if we go,
We can see it moved, right? To the
yeah, we
service.
can see it already moved here to that one. This is what we just moved. So we don't even need to go to the service manager to look at it because we can see that it's here. Plus there's a GL batch we should go post as well. But again, I'm not going to take the time for that right now, but just know that that's out there.
Yeah, good point, Sandy. That so we are moving it from one transaction or one service call to another in this case, right? But if let's say they're different divisions and it's going to create a GL transaction that says, it went to these posting accounts, but now moving to this new service call, we're going to actually transfer that cost from one division to the other and do the appropriate GL accounts based on the transactions that you've moved. So it does all of that for you and creates that batch in general ledger. So
Yeah,
very
very
good
slick.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
real handy. And the select job transfer, we're not going to have time to show today, but it basically works the same way. Lets you transfer from one job to another job.
Right. Yep. Listing out the transactions, right? So you can pick and choose and then have them transfer over to the other job. So great.
Yeah. So
Thank
should
you,
we hop
Sandy.
back to a few more slides?
Yes, yes. And you guys
Okay.
will have to excuse Sandy and I. We could talk hours all about these tools, but I know we only get a half hour today, and so we're trying to talk through as many as we can, kind of the hot
Yeah.
top ones that we see lots of customers using. So I want to make sure people are aware of them, as
And
well
this
as
next one's one of my favorites.
it is, as well as we do have demos out on our site as well, little 2 to 3 minute demos on all of the tools, whether they work with GP or Key2Act. So again, we'll call that out as a potential for if you want to see more information on any of these, as well as we would love to demo them as well. So I'll throw that out there because I'll be honest, we're not going to get through all of them today. We're going to talk about a few more and show a few more, but I know we're already over halfway of our time. So well, let's keep rolling, right, Sandy?
Yep.
All right, so QuickMail. Yeah, this is one where we've put out multiple versions and continue to just make it better and better. So QuickMail gives you the capability to actually send the invoice that you're creating, let's say on a service call, get that service invoice sent out while you're in the service invoice window, or we also have the batch capability to do that. But with QuickMail, we have where you can go in and set up, if this person, if this customer location is going to be using QuickMail, which template they're going to use, because you could have different templates per customer that you want to send out from an email perspective if you want to personalize them at all. The invoice that you've created, let's say the service invoice, will automatically be saved in your WS Docs tables, and it'll be attached to the email that's generated. And it does that automatically for you, but then you can also put on additional things from an attachment perspective. So let's say you have to send out the call summary with those invoices. You could actually, because those are automatically sent over from Mobile Tech and attached into your WS Docs table. So those will be in the window for also picking, as well as you could choose something even on your physical hard drive and attach that to send to the customer as well if you needed to do that. So lots of things for naming conventions, lots of different setup options that you can use. But again, lots of fun there in the single window. So whether you're in job cost invoicing, service invoicing, or you can do it in batch windows where you can choose multiples and send them all at once automatically in the background for you. So let's say you just did your maintenance run and 100 plus invoices at once and you want to get those sent out to a customer, out to the customer. So you can go into the QuickMail batch window for service maintenance. You can mark 100 of the invoices and click process, and the way they go for you. You wouldn't have to do one by one. You can do them one by one, or you can choose to send them all in a mass, all to different customers all at once. So cool, cool. And I think, Sandy, you're going to show that in a little bit, right?
I am. Yep.
Yeah, yay. Okay. All right, so let's take one thing I do want to say about the batch windows is it's for service invoicing and for maintenance invoices. We currently do not have it for job cost invoices, but it is on our to-do list. So if that's something you're interested in, please let us know that as well, because we would love to hear that feedback. So thanks, Sandy, for jumping back there.
Sure.
All right. Quick Find. Again, this is one of our older ones, older products that have been out there for a while. And Quick Find is one tool, but there's actually like 4 parts of this tool. It allows you to do a search for customers, vendors, service calls, or invoices. And again, it's actually integrated into the product and pops up in different locations depending on what you're looking for. There are hotkeys that you could use, so you could get, a quick find for customers anywhere using the hotkeys. Or when you go into, let's say, service call and you do a find on the service call, you'll get the standard Key2Act window, as well as you would get the new quick find service call window, which will show you multiple things like searching by technician, customer PO number, and those type of things. The one I really love is the invoice one. And the reason being is it allows you to search for an invoice number all over in your system in Key2Act. So it could be a maintenance invoice, job cost invoice, service invoice, and even a SOP invoice if you're doing SOP invoicing for, service. Let's say, bring those documents to you and you just click on them in the window and it brings you right into the inquiry windows. So, or wherever it is. So very cool stuff. And Sandy, I don't know, are we going to get to show that one?
Yep, if we don't run out of time, we will. Yep. Not telling
Okay.
you to hurry or anything, but yep, it is on the list of one of them we were going to show.
All right. Well, just a couple more slides and we'll get there. Two more products I just want to hit on really quick. So Zone Calculator. What this particular product will do is it will go out and calculate the mileage, round trip mileage that it takes from the customer location to this what we call hubs in your system. So in case you have multiple locations that your technicians go from and you want them to have the mileage calculated from the nearest hub, this zone calculator will go do that, and then you can bring the actual mileage back to the customer location, or you can bring a zone back to the customer location and have that stored on there. And then with that particular data, we can also use Autocharge with it, which then from an Autocharge perspective, you can say, if I'm in zone 2, I want it to charge on my invoices automatically $50. And it can do that for you. Where if I'm in zone 1, I just want to charge $25. So again, lots of power in getting the zones calculated or actual mile calculated if that's what you want to work off of. And then auto charge is a separate product but works together where you can choose to add additional costs based on particular set of rules. You can do a discount. So if you're doing a discount for a particular time frame, you could enter in that, or additional labor if you want labor added on based on, you know, let's say a cost going in on your material, those type of things. So again, lots of flexibility for auto charge. And then when you get to your invoicing window, your service invoicing window, all you would do is click under additional, add auto charges once all of your costs are on there, and it'll go out and put on those additional charges, and you're just ready to go and get that sent out to the customer. So, all right, Sandy, let's take a look at the product.
Okay. So we're going to take a look first at QuickMail, and it can be done from several windows. You know, Cheryl mentioned service invoices. We can do it from job invoices, inquiry windows, the service call window. And so I'm going to go up here to job invoice entry. And okay, I had that one open already too. So we've got a job invoice pulled up here. And then I'm just going to come under additional and QuickMail. And well,
Probably got your SSRS service. Did you get that warmed up before the demo?
I did not. I
That's okay.
busy and I didn't warm it up. So the first time it takes a moment, and after that it's really quick. I apologize for the delay here. Um,
Well, and a couple of things with that. So inside of when I talked about, from a customer, you can specify that, you want to use job invoice 1 for me, but for Sandy, you want to use job invoice 2. All of that would be part of QuickMail setup. So it would know what SSRS report to go generate when you actually made your selections. And then it's going to generate that SSRS report and going to bring that back and store that as we mentioned, a document within the WS Docs table so that you could have that as part of it.
Let me just close out of here and come back in. Actually, maybe I'll just show you the auto charge first while we're at it, because that's in a different
Yeah, go ahead.
environment. So let's look at auto charge. So this one, I have several rules set up here already. Rules for each of the zones if we're using zone calculator. So let's take a look at one of those. So as you can see here, you can have the rule based on any of these or multiple combinations of these. Division, service area, which is what I'm doing because that's what we populate with the zone calculator, either service area or service level ID, customer class, all of these other things. And then once you've set all of those, you can pick, is this going to be a invoice fee? Is it going to be a discount? If it is going to be a a fee or discount? Is it a percentage or a flat amount? Sorry about that. And then which one does it get? Which other cost category is it going to use? So here I had it, because this is zone calculator, as a trip charge. And so then to see that in action, I have a service call here that I already have some plus button charges on. And one thing to note is that to run the auto charge, the call status has to be complete rather than open. So let me just
Right.
move that to complete.
And
And then
part of the
go
reason
ahead.
for that, Sandy, is right, making sure that all your costs are on your invoice, because if
Yep.
you do a rule that's like a percentage of, you know, the material or equipment cost, right? We want to make sure all cost is posted and you're ready to go. So that's why that requirement's in there. Got to be completed.
Yeah. And so then when we're ready to run the auto charges, again, it's up here under the additional menu, and we just say add auto charges. And then it'll look through all of the auto charges and see which ones apply here, you know, like if based on whatever the criteria were that we had set on our auto charge rules. And so you can see that's done now. So if we come over here, we can see we had 2 auto charges run. One of them is our zone 3 charge for our trip charge of $75. And then also I had here a commercial equipment discount that took $28.60 off. So those 2 ran automatically for us, and then now it's, you know, it's ready to post, and that was super easy. Real slick tool, especially used in conjunction with the zone calculator.
And do you have QuickMail in this environment or not?
I don't.
That's
Let
okay.
me see. Let me go back to my other environment here. And it's in this one. Sorry. Hopefully it works better for us this time.
Is this also where you have auto charge?
Autocharge is the one we just looked at. This is a
Oh,
different
I'm sorry.
environment.
Quick find. Sorry, that was the
Yeah,
other.
yep, it is where I have quick find. Yeah, QuickMail and quick find. Whoops, and can't talk and click at the same time. And most of my other tools, yeah, I just for some reason had Autocharge in a different environment and zone calculator.
So
So just a
let's go
moment
ahead
here.
and show the quick find, and then I know we're up against the half hour.
Oh, okay, sure. So let me go into Service Manager. And so you can have these set to open automatically. Well, did I open the right environment?
Yeah, let's do a find and let's see if we got.
Maybe I opened the wrong one. I must have. Well, it didn't open for me. Let's see.
That's okay. And you want to hop back to the slides? Well,
Sure. Sorry about that. It is really cool, especially for the invoice, because you don't have to know the whole invoice number. You can just do part of it. Like the last 2 digits, you know, if you remember that it's ends in 54 or something, you can just type in 54. There we go. Well, I am
okay.
sorry we didn't get a look at those last 2 we were going to look at.
That's right. I was probably talking too much as well. So it's because I know we are, or at our half hour is over. But again, I wanted to point out that we do have little snippets, little videos out on our site if you want to take a look at those, or if you have questions on any of those, as well as, you know, Sandy and I would love to demo any of them in much further detail and much more conversation, as well as if you have time for that, just let us know, reach out. And again, our services, as you guys know, we do support consulting, training, and obviously development with creating our tools. So again, appreciate your time. If you have questions, there's the sales@IScorp email that you can certainly use. And I know Kurt would love to get those emails and get things rolling. And again, we're here to answer questions, and we appreciate you spending time with us today and joining us for the webinar, and hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye, guys.